There's a reception
Folks.
on Saturday.
I'm trying to help.
Thank you. So we are going to call the meeting to order. It's 11:03. Thanks everybody for coming. And does everyone have an agenda? We're going to go around the room and just introduce ourselves. I want to first welcome Carol Magana, who's here from the Energy and Climate Action Committee to be your liaison.
Oh, liaison. So I'm just interested in finding out what you're doing.
Okay, great. We do meet every month on the first Tuesday at 11 here in the library. Sometimes if there's a holiday in the way we change it, but usually first Tuesday. So I'll just start. I'm Lydia Vivante.
Beth Bramer.
Lonnie Briggs.
Jane Sharp.
Chris Wazinski. Jaya Cox.
Carol Magana, our guest. Oh, good. So any announcements, calendar items, or anything you want to bring up? We'll go right into the agenda. So number one is report on the Wellfleet Road race and the plastic bottle reduction. A few of us were there. It was a really exciting race, and all the water program seemed to work really well. We had the Water Monster, we had Open Water, which is a company that puts water in aluminum cans, and that's what they used instead of the plastic bottles this time. So
Which are reusable.
they're reusable, yeah. Well, the cans, not so much. The screw top bottles,
Screw top,
which
yes.
Beth
Sorry,
was,
I was thinking of those.
yeah.
Screw top.
the company also makes these screw top bottles. Sorry, I don't have one with me, but that was pretty exciting to see people use those. And it looks like they're willing to maybe not have any bottles next year, just refillable cups. I think that's what
Very good.
I understand for the next round, for the next time.
Yeah, Becky was very positive about it. I ran into her later, and that was great.
Yeah.
Good.
We have, we purchased food grade hoses, garden hoses. I guess some garden hoses actually had lead in them in years past, so no wonder people weren't into drinking right from the garden hose. So these ones are considered, food safe, and they're often used at campsites and other things like that. And so that's what we used with water from generously given by the bookstore restaurant.
Oh, you just plugged into the
Yeah,
faucet.
we connected to their spigot. Filled the Water Monster up. I think it's something like 200 gallons. And we had a lot left over, but maybe next year there'll be. It also wasn't a terribly hot day, so Becky said that was a good thing for us for this first time, not using plastic.
I was in the queue at Lima's the other day, and in front of me was a guy, and on his shoulder he had a huge pack of, 24 plastic bottles full of water. I thought, we're going to have trouble with the market now when we get this going.
Yeah.
I didn't tap him. I mentally tapped him on the shoulder.
There was just an article in the Boston papers about water sold under both Whole Foods, Stop and Shop, Cumberland Farms. It's got the PFAS in it as well. Tested, they suggested or urged pregnant women not to drink it.
Right.
So and the company that was producing it out of Haverhill is actually going out of business because they can't continue to market it. Sorry. And this is Carrie Parcell for the audience from the Mass DEP and the.
Cooperative extension.
Thank you. And all right. So yeah, the road race went really well. Thanks for everyone that volunteered, and we had a lot of people from sustainable practices as well. There was a group of about 5 or 6 of them there. So
How did that do with Sally Bonds?
yeah, that sold the sparkling water.
I don't remember the
I think it was about $80 that we made from
I
that.
bought one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it attracted people and how many.
They did. People were willing to try it out, and that water was the sparkling water, so it was different from what was in the cans.
Yeah.
And it also reminded me that in the cans, if it was still water, there was no deposit on the side, 5-cent deposit. It's only for carbonated beverages. So
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's
Yeah.
why on the carbonated, on the screw top bottles, they did have the 5-cent Massachusetts deposit, redemption. So that was pretty interesting.
So did we sell half the bottles at least?
I'm not sure. I think we bought something, they're gonna be, I think they're at Christine, so we can always bring them out again at the next event.
Yeah.
So that's that. We go next, any other thoughts about the outreach programs 2019? So Chris asked that we talk about Instagram and social media planning. So take it away. Just gonna get a pen.
So I haven't really started working on the Instagram campaign yet, but I was thinking that it would be really useful if we could do it in a way that was kind of presented in organized amount of information and try to do it in a kind of regular amount of time between posts. And if we could do something where we've featured things that you can and cannot recycle at the Wellfleet transfer station. And so, one week it would have one type of item and say, yes, you can recycle this, or no, you can't recycle it, and give a little bit of information on the bottom. But just have it be very clear, so it's just sort of like 1 or 2 items. And I'm trying to think of some way to visually distinguish things that you can recycle and things you can't recycle, so that people can quickly see, oh yes, either this is against this color background or that color background or something like that, so that it's something that people can keep going back to, and if they have questions, they can use it as a resource for that.
That in conjunction with the Recycle Smart MA page, which has everything on it.
It does, but I've seen, I've used that a lot, but I've seen some Instagram pages that do this really effectively, and I don't have the name of them right now because I don't have my phone with me. I couldn't find it when I left the house. But there's some really good ones that are very clear, and I think that might be a good way to do it.
And Wellfleet recycles more than other places. I mean, you can take fabrics, can't you, too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could also be a changing thing, because if there's something that they suddenly can't take, then we can put that up and let people know. If there's a different place that it has to be put at the transfer station, we can let them know that too.
Maybe the thing to do would be to bring it up at a meeting, what you're going to post, and then just do it the next day, and that'll be the time that you were talking about. Right?
Yeah, or maybe 2 of them, so maybe twice a month we can have something go out.
Yeah.
So I can try to do that for the next time, get a couple of them ready.
Okay.
If I can, maybe I can try to get 4 of them ready, just so that we can put them out there, and I can kind of be ahead of things. Yeah.
I've noticed that people are kind of signing on to our Instagram account, but there's only, as far as I can tell, there's only 1 post there
Yeah.
right now. So we do have a bunch of pictures that we could add. It'd be nice. From all the events that we do, whether it's the spaghetti supper, composting, or the water refill program. Good. All right. So next meeting you'll bring.
Yeah, I'll try to have 4 different ones coming up.
Good.
And I would highlight the transfer station before Recycle Smart MA, just because you do have some programs that are beyond that.
Right.
Like
So
the
I
shell
would-
program.
Yeah, so I would preface calling or contacting your transfer station prior
Right.
to determining whether or not an item on Recycle Smart MA is, because that might be, there's sort of umbrellaing 351 towns
Yeah.
versus just Wellfleet.
Right.
So definitely focus on, ask the transfer station, but you can always refer to here.
Right.
I don't know how to best do that.
But it's for the Wellfleet Recycling Committee. So somehow, I guess we have to, if we say these are the items that work in Wellfleet, and ask at your transfer station if this works at yours, something like that.
Yeah. Not to complicate things.
Yeah, no, but I kind of like the fact that this is, it's very local. That, if we get everybody in Wellfleet to start using this, then it would be a really good thing. But if other people look at it, so maybe I can just always have a final line, ask at your transfer station.
Yeah, ask your transfer station first, because
Yeah.
some items may vary, or
Yeah.
something like that. Because
Right.
they really do, specific with you guys and a couple other ones here on Cape.
Right.
Like what items, could you name a couple that we take that others don't?
So like the shellfish pile, you guys take flower pots.
For rigid plastic?
Yeah, you guys do more with your bulky rigids. You guys still take fire extinguishers, correct?
I don't know. I haven't seen them there. I don't
haven't
think
seen them
so.
either.
Those ones are tough right now. What other items do you accept that most transfer stations can't or won't? You have a brush pile here. Some transfer stations don't do that.
But in terms of basic
Yeah.
recycling,
Food
it's
drop
pretty
off.
much standard.
Yeah. Basic, I mean, because they follow the waistbands. So everybody has to do basic recycling.
Right, so the
But for
shell,
bulky
you know,
stuff.
things like clamshells, not everyone's gonna
Yeah.
have that, you know,
Right.
check with your transfer station, may
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
could work. I don't know. So, okay, great. The next is recycle smart publicity, print more of those info cards. I don't know if the DPW has a plan to do that. We did it on our own last time, but those were popular at the forum that was given. So, do you think we should get another 200 for the fall, or just rely on digital media for that?
Can you take those to town meetings?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
probably not until the spring, though.
Right,
I don't know if there's going to be a fall town meeting. It might be. That's a good question. That'd be a good place to have them.
Yeah.
Can wait till next month on that and see if we want to spend the money on those. Fix-It Clinic sewing machine repair and patching session. Mira, who is one of the volunteers for the boomerang bags and also the previous Fix-It Clinics, she offered to do a sewing machine repair session with a focusing on machines, because a lot of people at the Fix-It Clinics, that was one of the most popular tables.
Yeah.
So she said October would be a good date. That's also, of course, when Oyster Fest is, so it's a little tricky, but it's possible we could check with the library to see if there's a Saturday available, or it could be,
Oyster Fest is always the weekend after Columbus.
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
I think it's not the 25th, it's the 19th. Yeah, the 19th. It's the
What-
Saturday.
Are you talking about Columbus Day, or are you talking about
The week
Oyster
after
Fest?
is Oyster Fest, so
yeah.
not around there. It would have to be Columbus Day weekend or the one after, which is the
Wait a minute, not-
26th.
The one after is, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna get the calendar out, look at the weekend
Yeah,
after.
okay, so Columbus Day is the 14th, and this is
So
Columbus
this
Day.
is
This would be
Oyster
a
Fest, the
Saturday afternoon.
19th and 20th is
Yeah.
Oyster Fest, and
So that could be.
it would be the week after, the
Right.
25th. And Friday the 25th, or Columbus Day, which is the weekend before. I think that's the 12th. So we're looking at maybe the October 12th or 25th for the Fix-It Clinic sewing machine repair.
And is that just sewing machine or is it the whole Fix-It Clinic?
No, it would just focus on the machines, because the regular Fix-It Clinic we do in the winter. I think it's January. And that's Jed that organizes that. This was gonna, because the machines were kind of to focus on those, and also to have repair and mending of clothes, because that takes time also, and that would be kind of related.
I didn't hear about that before. Repair and mending of clothes.
Yeah, at the last Fix-It Clinic, there was someone who came in with a skirt that needed hemming.
Yeah.
And so they did that, but it took quite a bit of time, and so they suggested maybe to have it during the sewing machine, have a group doing the hand mending and patching. So we could talk about textile recycling there and make sure that everybody knows
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
big trailer at the transfer station that you can put in there. So I'll ask about that with the library, scheduling it, and check with Mira also. She's the main person to
How do
do
you
the
spell her
repair.
name?
Mira.
Oh, what's her last name?
I don't have it with me.
Okay, I can get that from Ben.
Plastics and producer responsibility. So this is kind of ongoing. And we started, I think you note, Beth signed it, I signed it. And we thought we'd talk about that today, one of the things we could do. I went to Whole Foods last week in Newton, and they had signs up saying that they're not offering any straws anymore.
Great.
Good, excellent.
And they offer the sippy cup.
Where, I'm sorry.
This is Whole Foods in Newton. So I guess it's nationwide. Of course, if you have your own cup, it's better. But this is the lid. It has a hole in it, so you can sip through it and not get the ice in your mouth, which is, I guess, the reason why people use straws.
Good idea. No, I guess. It's still plastic, but it's doing something, I guess.
Yeah, it's number, it's not polystyrene, it's number, I think, 2. I can't really, that's what it looks like. But, so that's the new lid there. We were thinking about, in terms of Wellfleet and plastics and people doing green things that are nice, the Max Shack in their parking lot, they put down lots of gravel and shell rather than a lot of asphalt. And that was something that we could thank them for or send a note. This note actually is for the recreation department. So if you want to sign it to say thanks to.
Oh, yeah.
Nice idea.
Actually, are these available, these cards?
Tracy Hunt had those printed for us when she did the T-shirts.
Oh.
That was a while back. We have
Well, I mean,
about.
I'm always looking for things that can use as birthday cards even, you know, instead of schlepping around, just pay $5 at the market for a
We could try and.
picture of Uncle Tim's bridge. This would be just as good.
I guess we could sell them. You're the first person who said that they'd want to buy it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, we could.
It's inoffensive.
It's a nice, inoffensive birthday card.
I have a grandson who's 21 tomorrow. It's a bit late to send it to him. But,
Okay, how many? We could do like a set of 5. We don't have all that many left, so we're kind of using them for the thanks
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
But
oh, no, I was thinking of having them as a regular thing.
yeah, print some more.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, we can figure out maybe
No,
next
just
month.
note cards, you know.
Yeah, next month we can talk
I
about.
guess with envelopes in that case, but if you're going to be commercial about it, wouldn't you?
Alright, great. How you doing, Beth?
I don't know, you'll find out later. And say, oh my God, why did we ask her?
I do like this new concept though. Last person to the meeting does the minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh,
actually.
yeah,
That way
yeah.
we get some
You
early
know
birds.
that?
I didn't when we're rushing to get
I
in
don't
before,
know.
5 minutes before.
That is a good idea, if I ever heard one. Oh, that looks so nice, thank you. Great, so get that to Becky. Zero waste public service announcement update. Well, one of our stars, the video, is getting married in September, so it's probably going to be a little later than September.
Okay.
There is a really big coast sweep beach cleanup planned for September 28th. And we got a request, well, just regarding that, one of the scenes that we wanted to do for the public service announcement was a beach cleanup scene. So there is the coast sweep, which we've participated in years past, and this one is on Saturday the 28th from, I think it's 9 to 1 or 9 to 11. I'll look it up. And we were asked by Sustainable Practices if we want to be co-sponsor of the Provincetown cleanup. So folks that want to go to Provincetown could. It's more just in name, you know, just to be a co-sponsor. And we've worked with Denny O'Connell from the Conservation Trust co-sponsoring the Wellfleet one. So how do you feel about that? Would you like to do that again this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there, should we vote on that or the general consensus or, yeah,
Sounds good.
okay. So that's for both, for the Wellfleet and the Provincetown ones. We actually haven't gotten a request from Wellfleet from Denny yet, but I think it was just issued yesterday. There's a form that we can fill out.
There's a misspelling here.
Where?
Adjournment has 2 N's instead of an R.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
It's so small.
Just don't let it happen again.
Okay. Good. So then we go to Oyster Fest planning, call for volunteers. That's Christine will be back in September. I think because we've lined up some great volunteers through sustainable practices, that they're already on board for Oyster Fest.
That's good.
Yeah.
Great.
And the more that we can do, like in other towns, for instance, the Provincetown cleanup, the more they might be able to help us at things like Oyster Fest. And
Yes,
That's
yes.
interesting.
Yeah. So it broadens the group of volunteers, which is important because everybody in Wellfleet tends to be kind of flat out doing their own thing on Oyster Fest.
Right.
Or escaping it altogether, which I used to do.
Yeah. Okay.
But my grandson is working at Winslow's this summer.
Oh, cool.
I think when he turned up, Tracy was thinking, well, we are pretty well fully staffed. And then it turned out that he's going to Tufts. She said, oh, would you come back and work at Oyster Fest weekend? Oh, yes, he said. Okay,
Oh my
you're
gosh.
on. She said, so I don't want him trashing the house, so it means I'll be here. So I could, yeah.
Guess what? Here's an update. I just got an email from Denny O'Connell, and the Wellfleet is going to do theirs on October 14th, so there's 2 different dates completely. So we can do both. So one is October 14th, and that's from 9 a.m.
That's Columbus Day, isn't it? Didn't we decide?
No, that's the weekend before.
No, it's
is Columbus Day.
Monday,
It is?
October
It is?
14th is Columbus Day.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
going to be on Columbus
Yeah.
Day. Okay.
And that's at 9 a.m. at Mayo Beach. And then the first one is going to be, let me just get that for you so we have it. September 28th, 9 to 11. So those are the 2 dates. And
And what is the location for that?
that is going to be, I think the details are going to be forthcoming. It's Provincetown, probably, Macmillan Pier area, but I'm not sure.
So September 28th
28th,
is Provincetown.
yep. And Wellfleet is October 14th.
Yep.
Let's see. Good. Then number 3, refill Wellfleet water stations. There's Town Center Marina Recreation Department request for water fountain chiller. There's an update on that, and Becky said that the water is cold enough for them.
Oh, really?
From
So
the
that's
exterior.
No, that's no problem. Good.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like they need a chiller, but they would like to have an interior one like is at the town hall,
It,
which would be inside the building.
in the entranceway on the street side, you mean?
No, these are the inside ones.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So Becky'd like to have one on the inside of the building for them to use. And those are, I think, are in the $1,000 price range, something like that.
To keep the water cool.
No, it's
just a filler.
It's a
Oh,
water.
okay.
It's a water fountain. Basically, it's a water fountain. You can drink from it, and you can fill your bottle. It's like the 3 that are in the town hall.
And at COA they have that kind.
Yeah, that's right. That one gets a lot of heavy use. So they'd like one for the inside of the rec building. I think that's
Makes
something
sense.
that if we had the money, we could give some money for that.
That'd be good to support.
Yeah.
The COA ones made a huge difference, because people, from the exercise class, it used to be that, halfway through the exercise you break, you get water. Now everybody brings their own cup and
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
just fills it from them.
Good.
Very good. That's good first-hand reporting.
A lot fewer plastic cups being tossed away.
Oh, yeah, that's really great. So let's see. Their program is probably going to run into October, I think, the rec building. I'm not sure when their season ends.
Even down at the harbour.
Yeah, that octagonal or hexagonal building they have there, that's where she'd like the water fountain to be inside. So they'd have two. They'd have an
Oh,
exterior
is that
bottle
on the
filler.
playground then? Yes, okay.
Maybe what we'll do is look at the money that we have left. There's some that's earmarked for the 2 water stations that have not been installed yet. One at the harbor master and one at the town hall area, which is kind of on hold because of the very expensive concrete pad that apparently is needed, which we kind of wonder, right? Do we really need that? I think Jay Norton may come to our next meeting. He's the assistant DPW person, and he'll probably have some thoughts on how best to, if that's absolutely necessary, or, if it were in a different location, could it be in some other format, or I don't know.
I have a question. Is there a water fountain already on the outside of the rec building?
Yeah, that was our first one. That was
I
installed.
wonder if enough people if there is enough inside traffic. I've never been in the building.
Yeah, I think that
To
people,
warrant.
there are 2 restrooms in there, so they're, like right there, you have a lot of people coming and going. And I think for the,
Yeah, if they have restrooms.
yeah. So maybe we can see if we can get Jay and Becky to come to our next meeting. That would be good, because then they would, or at least, figure stuff out all at one time rather than it dragging on. So we'll do that for September. Energy Committee Liaison, Carol, you want to tell us a little bit about what the Energy Committee is doing also?
Suzanne Ryan is also a new member on the committee, and we've been tasked to investigate how it works in the town applying for grants. It seems like each department and committee is independent from what I've seen, but we're going to talk to Dan Hort this afternoon, and I have an appointment with Mark Vincent later in the week. Have you guys applied for grants?
We usually apply through, the Mass DEP has grants and the DPW applies directly to them, but we've also applied for some other nonprofits such as Care for the Cape and Islands gave us money for our first water filler, and that was successful. We've also applied for grants from the Cultural Council for the 5 Gyres visit a couple of years ago. The Cape Cod 5 Bank and Siemens Bank both give grants. And there's other groups too.
And when you apply, do you coordinate with anybody? Do you tell Dan Hort?
It's definitely with the Mass DEP ones, it goes through the DPW, so he's apprised of that. And then for the Cape Cod 5 one, we listed him as the contact, the ultimate contact on the application form. So yeah, he is, he'll be aware of it. And for the Care for the Cape and Islands one, I sent it to everybody. I sent it to the health agent, I sent it to the select board, to Dan,
I think what we have in mind for our first effort is an engineering study about the low-lying roads in town, and to get a sense of what we would want to then apply for more money for. We've just become eligible for a lot of state money because of the vulnerabilities workshop that was done.
Oh, yeah. So that's for climate action. Climate action part of it, so the sea level rise and...
Right.
So, that's beyond what we do for sure. I mean, that's a whole other...
It's a whole other ballgame. But the whole grant process is of interest to me right now. But basically, I just want to attend to sort of keep an eye on
Would the Energy Committee be interested in lowering the speed limit?
Excuse me?
Would the Energy Committee be interested in lowering the speed limit in town?
I think that's a state thing. the
I
speed
speak on
limit.
behalf of
Yeah.
pedestrians.
What is the speed limit?
It's 30.
Yeah. I'm thinking
I
more
thought
like
it was
15.
25.
No, I think it's more. People do
Okay.
drive quite fast.
And is there,
The 30 is fast in town.
It's too
Yeah.
fast in town. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe I actually do 32.
do they have any signs posted on Commercial Street? I don't think so, for speed limit.
I think once you get off Route 6, there's a sign, and that's usually the case. But it seems reasonable to
Especially if there's
bring
no
it down to
sidewalks.
15
Streets
right
with
in
no
the center of
sidewalks.
town.
Yeah, that might be a bike and walkways committee thing, because there's a whole
Okay.
committee on
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Well, I was thinking for energy, presumably if they're going slower, they're using less pollution.
Fuel.
Polluting less, aren't they?
I'll mention it.
The town of Orleans a couple years ago, through their finance committee, I believe, the town voted in some revenue to just have a grants person for the whole town, which I thought was interesting. The position itself ran out because the person moved on, but they did hire somebody to look at grants for all town departments, not just one singular department. So all of the grants that went through the town went through one central office or person. So that way it was coordinated that way. I don't know if that's something of interest or to look into.
Yeah, that would be
But
good.
it made sense.
I had an idea to suggest that Wellfleet do that. When I took this class with Seth Rollbine on activism, and that was my idea, and I chickened out. I thought it was a good idea. It does seem like the process is like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing.
I think the assistant town administrator, when it was Brian Carlson, he was really active in all the grants. So that might be the position. I mean, we don't have one right now, an assistant town administrator, but that could be part of their role, because they're supposed to do planning and things as well. Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it was short-lived, but it seemed to work for the town because that one person was responsible for finding available grants for different departments.
Good.
And I think town meeting passed the budget for that particular position. And it was part-time, it wasn't.
All right, so carry-out planning. I went to the Newcomb Hollow today, and they used to have signs that said, Wellfleet is a voluntary carry-out community. That sign's gone, and what's left is this on a plaque, basically. So, but maybe it's at all the beaches, and that's kind of where we're at in terms of the signage and things.
When you post it, are you removing trash cans or keeping the trash cans there?
The trash cans are there. Actually, it's no cans at all. There's a big dumpster by the bathrooms like last year.
But there's a receptacle for trash.
Yeah.
That's it. The dumpster's the receptacle for trash. And
So
I
it's a
don't
bit of a
know.
contradiction then.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's no trash barrels at the top of the beach,
Okay.
which is really good. I think that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Slowly take it away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe the dumpster could get smaller.
Yeah.
Or move it further and further. Next thing you know, it's a tiny little, like, 34-gallon.
Right.
Or maybe a little recording in the bottom of the dumpster. Saying, carry in, carry out instead.
A little bit like the slow camera flashes. Busted, take it.
Well,
Yes.
You're caught now, carry it out.
I have a sticker that says, you are being watched. I could put that up
I
there.
don't know.
Under 24-hour
Yes,
hour carry out
surveillance.
surveillance. I saw you carried in.
trash surveillance.
Well, I don't think that would go over too well. So, but,
Just make it a very kind sounding voice.
That's right.
A little child.
Yes.
Maybe a little tiny girl in the background.
Maybe we could have a little picture of Greta Thunberg, you know, from Sweden.
Oh, yes,
With her
yes,
pigtails?
yes.
Oh,
Yes,
the
that would
ideas
be
are
great.
getting better and better.
You know, she's sailing over to a meeting at the UN.
Yes, that's wonderful.
They were interviewing the sailors. It's just a racing boat somehow. And they were
Way
saying
to
what kind
go.
of facilities. She'll be the only woman there. She's just a girl, really. Well, he said there are no showers. There's no, you know, we just have a little camping thing to warm things up on. So it's pretty basic.
yeah. For carryout planning, Dennis, they're the town that's doing it. Any other towns on board or planning it for next year?
I saw a sign in Brewster, right off of one of the rail trails, and I can't remember where it was, but I was driving past one of the pedestrian where they kind of light it up that shows that somebody's coming. And when I looked up, there was a sign that says Brewster Carry In, Carry Out, and I've never seen that yet or heard that they were going to do something. So I don't know if it's just sort of been there and nobody recognizes it.
Where was it again? Was it on the beach or just a
No,
roadway?
it was at the one of the rail trail pedestrian
Okay, right, I
crossings
see
where
what
they
you
have to
mean.
go over probably somewhere off of 6A or maybe Millstone in Brewster. But I saw it and I went,
Yeah.
and if I remember correctly, it was a red sign.
And for your next regional quarterly meeting?
Okay, yep. So that's going to be September 10th. And John Fisher from DEP is coming to present on debris disaster management and best practices.
That might be of interest.
And I'm hoping we get Shannon Holtz, formerly Shannon Jarbo, to come and talk about hazard mitigation for floodplains, because she's our coastal resource specialist at the county. And so she basically wrote the national template for flood insurance programming for towns. And she did a short presentation about a year ago on storage and chemical issues that happen when there's a flood or storm damage and the possible things that people, because on average a household has about 50 pounds of hazardous materials that are stored in their home at any one given time, which is a very scary number, but we don't think about our fertilizers, our pool cleaners, our roundups, our bleach, our, all the things that are really nasty for the environment, not to mention things in our computer monitors or towers that, so when those things get destroyed and there's flooding, it seeps into ink cartridges and not to mention all the weird stuff that people collect in their sheds and stuff. So, the DDT and all that fun stuff. So, she did a short presentation on how to store it, how to prepare for it, just sort of proactive preparedness with regards to flooding and hazard mitigation for hazardous waste, not the hazards of flooding, but that particular part of it.
Wow.
So I'm hoping to combine the two.
So that sounds more DPW than recycling related meeting.
It is this
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
It is, but I would like to see it be more invited to the public, just so people have a better understanding, because it's the DPW dealing with anything that's town roads, but if the tree falls off of a private property, the only way, so if there's a tree on a private property and it falls into the street, the town is only responsible for removing of the tree to the street line. And then after that, the homeowner is responsible for the tree that goes all the way from the street into their yard. So when there's that kind of damage, it's the resident that has to know that, DPW isn't coming out and doing any more than what clears the roadways. Because that's where the responsibility ends. So I think I don't think it's something that only experts should be aware of. But you're right, it's not so much recycling this time. It's more awareness after tornadoes. I thought it was a really good plan. And DEP has an incredible debris management plan. And John Fisher was sort of, so that's why I asked him to come. And I've seen him present it, and it's
What is
good.
the location?
I think I'm going to do it in Barnstable because he comes down from Boston. So whenever I have a DEP person, I try to do it on the Upper Cape. And I think last time we were in Yarmouth.
And one time you were in Wellfleet, we did it at the fire station, we did
That
zero
was an
waste.
excellent
You might try
location.
and do zero waste for your Barnstable one. And one thing about the recycling in the wood and trees is I know Kathleen Bacon, our select board member, had brought up when there's storm damage, tree damage, can the wood, often it is left on the side of the road for people to pick up, but maybe there could be more of a coordinated way to assemble it in one place for people to use as firewood rather than tip it up.
Right. Yeah, and plus leaf and yard waste and brush is a banned item, so you can't take it to a landfill or a waste energy facility. So that also creates somewhat of an issue because sometimes when you see transfer stations, some of them don't take brush. The ones that do tend to do a temporary lift on the cost. So just an example, Yarmouth had the 2 tornadoes that touched down. And they charge $65 per ton over the scale for brush, not leaf and yard waste, but brush. And brush is considered, an inch or more in width. And so they lifted that for a couple of days so that residents and cleanup crews, businesses, the town could go right through there, and that was waived. They still weigh it just so they know what they're collecting for DEP.
Oh, interesting.
But they lifted that $65 fee. And you'll see that during, storm disasters and stuff. Transfer stations will open up not only to the residents to remove the fees and allow access to come in, but on occasion they'll let other entities that aren't normally allowed in the transfer station to come in.
Good.
And the emergency funds usually pay for that because that brush needs to be chipped and wood chips, and that costs money by a third-party vendor to do that. So it's emergency money that usually comes down to help mitigate.
Great.
All of those little pieces of overtime and brush management and damage and hazard waste and
You don't
flooding.
think about it.
See? That's why we're having this conversation now.
Very good. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. All of a sudden it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Next on our agenda is future concerns. We have water bottle reduction policy. There's to be a presentation before the select board in the fall. The swap shop, I understand that now at the transfer station, the swap shop is staying where it is. At one point, it was in the way, and they were like, well, let's move it, and blah, blah, blah. That's not, doesn't look like that's gonna happen, because now it's a linear, beyond the basic recycling plaza, there's gonna be demolition, and all the rest of it's gonna be all in a line, so there's not a lot of crossing like this.
I see.
The metal pile, the demolition pile's
It's
all
already
gonna
there.
be, it's all there,
Yeah,
okay.
it's been moved.
So that's, I think, a real positive. I don't know what it means for the small swap shop and the expansion that was hoped for. So that's something to bring up.
So that's still really floating around a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that they just add on to what's there. I think what's positive is that it doesn't have to leave where it is, and just stay there.
And by the way, did you hear there was a fire at the swap, not at the swap shop, but at the storage area they had there?
Yeah, the universal waste shed burned to the ground,
The
and that's where
Yeah.
the hazardous waste.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
last week, you mean?
Monday,
Yeah.
last Monday.
No, I hadn't
And
heard
we
that.
I
had
called
something
Mike
stored
Hall as
there, and
Okay.
Mike said he's gonna try to get it covered by insurance.
Right.
What?
We had
Umbrellas and the X things for recycling.
all toast, huh?
Yeah, and he thought it might have been, I don't know, leaking from some,
He thought it might have been one of the lithium-ion batteries because of the heat.
Oh, that's so scary.
But he actually
Yeah.
doesn't know. But DEP, the actual environmental piece of DEP, I'm not a regulator, by the way. I'm a service department. But the folks from DEP came out, and it was, I don't believe it was an EPA event, because if you smell mercury on the ground, that's actually an EPA event. But they had just emptied the shed. So there was
Oh.
very little in there.
Oh,
There was a
really?
couple
I didn't know
CFLs,
that.
mercury
Oh, good.
CFLs,
Okay.
and some batteries, and that's why he thinks it was one of the batteries that just sort of combusted under the heat. I was like, maybe having one of the sheds with like a fire retardant like cabinet in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Good thing.
Was anybody in it? I mean,
No,
No,
I
he
think
said
it's
it's at
overnight.
5. He goes, of course, it was at 5 o'clock, so everybody's
Yes.
like, I want to go home for the day.
Yes.
But yeah, he said it was just a quick burn to the ground, recently emptied.
It was PM or in.
Bummer.
So there are houses not far away, so, I mean, it was a fire department problem then.
Yeah, we came.
Yeah.
And then DEP showed up on Tuesday.
So we should, I mean, I know what the things that we had there. and so
well,
we
he
should
said he
inventory.
already put in an insurance claim, including our stuff in it. If you
Yeah.
wanna talk more
Okay.
to him about that.
Under what policy is the swap shop insured?
I don't know.
It's not the swap shop, it's the universal waste shed.
Oh, I see.
But that's a good question too. About the swap
Is it
shop.
even insurable?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was just thinking that.
Yeah. Okay. What's next here? Water bottle, we done, swap shop, field trips. We talked about going to Eastham because we haven't been to that transfer station in a while. And they do lots more sorting than Wellfleet. The question is, what do they do once it's sorted? Do they have a market for blue glass? Do they have a market for brown glass? You know, at this point in the recycling world, I wonder about that.
That would make a very good article, wouldn't it? Just comparing the different transfer stations on the Cape. I mean, Teresa Parker did a fantastic article, didn't she?
Yeah, that was
basically
really good.
on your meeting with Mike.
Yeah, she did.
But to do a sort of comparison would be quite an interesting piece.
They're starting a new publication, Teresa
Yes.
Parker and Ed Miller.
Oh,
And Charlie Sennett's coming to give a talk soon, isn't it? Next week.
Yeah, that's right here at the library.
What is it?
Well, apparently, according to Ed Miller, the banner's about to fold.
ah,
Oh,
I don't know if that's true or not. He certainly left it. I don't know if he means that so it'll fold, or
really?
there are people who own the banner. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're closing regional news offices. I think that's
Yeah,
what's happening, but I don't know for sure.
So Ed wants to, Lower Cape.
All right, so
I never
next
know. Are we Lower Cape or Upper Cape?
outer. Or
Outer.
outer Cape or lower. I think it used to be called lower, and then people prefer
It's
outer.
bad enough figuring out what's east, west, north, and south of the Cape.
Oh, because we are kind of up high.
Yeah, that settles that much better than upper or lower.
yes.
Yeah, outer there.
Minutes-wise, what we wrote to Christine, she's going to have them for us in September. I have the Treasury report here. Good news, they're going to be going to a new accounting system. Actually, they are in a new accounting system. This is the June report. So in donations, it's 2,280. Those are for the water filling stations. In our, we get a $100 budget line here in the general fund. And then under gifts and grants, I believe it's somewhere around 931. But I think next month it will be a lot clearer because these are not easy to read. Even with my glasses. Okay.
Every budget report I get, I'll send it to you, Lydia.
Oh, yeah.
Can you answer this one?
And correspondence, well, we're gonna write to Becky there. We didn't get an email. Let's double check if there's more email.
Ben, one of the days the swap shop, does it have any more days than Saturday, Tuesday?
Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, 8 to 12.
Seems it hasn't.
And we did get an email from Gabrielle Griffiths, which I forwarded to everyone. It's about it's an article in this publication, newfoodeconomy.org. It's about the compostable bowls. They're the brown ones that look a bit like, this color paper. It looks a bit like this. And in the molding process, in the production, they use PFAS, that's like polyfluorocarbonated. It's basically a Teflon. It's a coating that resists oil and grease and things like that. So it's on a lot of different stuff. It's probably on your sports jackets, like your things like Gore-Tex.
So weatherproofing.
Weatherproofing, yeah.
Weatherproofing.
It's really out there, and they're using it in these bowls.
Yeah, because if you do it in a straight, like eggshell type bowl, and then you take it home, it's just gonna melt away.
How
in your
can you
refrigerator.
compost that?
Well,
Why?
I don't know, you
put
probably
that in your
wouldn't.
compost? I wouldn't
yeah.
know.
So this also goes, they're always trying to find something that's going to work better than plastic, but the only thing that really does is a reusable bowl. Or there's I'm sure there's other coatings that they could use. They'll probably have to switch, it will take some time, but they could use a wax coating made with soy or something like that,
Did you
rather
have
than...
a thought on that?
Yeah, dishwashers.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't read too much into this article, but I saw something, and I can't remember if it's out of Cambridge here or Cambridge, UK. But what they're doing is they're piloting like takeout places that usually have single-use type things, and what you do is you pre-order when you go in to pick up, and then you pay a small deposit on the reusable stuff that they give you, and then when you come back to pick up your next order, you bring in that bowl to get your deposit back, so you no longer have to pay a deposit on the, so if I go in and they provide this for me, say, and I want my coffee, they have a new mug that's washed, rinsed, whatever, sterilized, just
Well,
like
I
a
was
restaurant.
wondering how they do that, because they won't fill what you bring in.
No, you have to have it put it on a plate and then stick it in your bowl.
Yeah.
But what they do is, so they give me this cup, I have my coffee, I pay a deposit on the cup because it's expensive, and then when I come back, I bring in my dirty one and pick up the new one that's been treated as if a restaurant had washed it.
What
sterilized
places
it.
are doing this?
I don't remember, I passed through the article relatively quickly, and it's something that they're thinking about doing specifically for to-go type markets, you know, coffee shops and,
Isn't it fantastic?
you know, I say food trucks, but food trucks are so limited in space, but,
Yeah.
you know, large scale, like a Panera eatery or a Chipotle eatery or something where it's meant, you know, 50% of the population takes it to go rather than sits. And I thought it was an interesting concept because we trust the restaurants to be cleaning and sterilizing what we use there. So, you know, you just pay a deposit, and then if you don't bring it back, you just pay another deposit on the new one they give you.
And they're kind of standard sizes, it's not like they,
Well, if it's a coffee shop, they'd probably do like
12
a,
ounce.
yeah, a 16 or maybe two different sizes or whatever, but that's what they're looking at. And I thought it was
Good.
interesting because economically, if you pay a deposit, it means they're not losing money on giving away
Right.
reusable stuff that people are going to go put in their cabinets after they wash it at home. It's meant to keep circulating. I thought that was interesting.
yeah, let's see if it's Cambridge, Mass, we could, we could go there.
You've come with a lot of good tidbits today, thank you.
You're welcome.
Not that you have other times, but.
Usually I'm just full of useless information.
Is there anything else you want to bring
Yes,
up for
yes.
future concerns? Yes,
Yes,
Beth.
I do. I got this idea and I ran it past Madhavi and she got very enthusiastic and said she would work on it. The idea would be, hopefully for the month of June next year, we get as many galleries as possible on Cape Cod to do an environmental show. One to save the world, one of those sorts of themes. And I think some gallery owners would be enthusiastic, others wouldn't care, but I think it would be a wonderful thing to do. As I say, she was enthusiastic, so she said she'd work on it.
You know, something like that, if you speak ahead of time to the artists, the ones that are working with the galleries, that will spark ideas,
Yes.
and they will paint or sculpt for
Exactly,
that.
that's why I'd like to get started on it soon.
That's right. yeah.
Actually, I know an artist who is already aiming in that direction.
Uh-huh.
She's in Canada now, but I'm gonna send that.
Cool. Well, that's what I want to do with all of my
Talk to
artwork, is
somebody about
everything to do with the environment, because for years I've always done trees and plants and birds, and because I love them, and now they're more endangered, so that's why I want to express my concern.
Good, we
It'd
could,
be cool to have like a
Get the
weekend art
artists.
walk with that theme, and then give somebody
Oh.
like a little sticker book or a guide, and then families can go and check off the places that they visited, and
I
then maybe they
love
get
it.
like a little prize or something for
Very
turning
good
in.
for business, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's great for businesses and not only surrounding the galleries, which would be the focal point in that topic, but the restaurants and the ice cream shops, and then you have them do a zero waste day while the art walk is open.
And if on their openings, they don't put out all those plastic things for wine.
I know.
I mean,
know.
that is like,
yeah.
really?
Exactly,
This and that?
exactly.
So,
Yes,
That's where, yeah.
no
the
mixed
products-
messages here.
right.
Community cutlery program.
Yes.
But that would be kind of fun to see how many towns you can get, and then people have to bop around and spend the weekend doing it.
Yeah, I wonder who I would contact first off, do you think? Like the Chamber of
Yeah, I was
Commerce?
gonna say I would start with the chambers.
Yeah, okay.
There's also, I think Wellfleet has an art gallery association that.
Oh, that's
um,
I wonder if is that still
Audrey
going on?
Karen.
Yeah, oh, I could talk to her.
Yeah. And good, all right, so it's 12-ish, I think. Anything, any other items?
I just have a quick question, speaking of the community cutlery. So I had said that the Porch Fest here in Wellfleet
Oh,
would
yeah.
like to use that for their after party. How do I go about getting it? Where is it?
It's here at the library,
Okay.
and there's service for 300 or so, forks, knives, spoons. There's also, I think, about 120 napkins,
I
cloth
think it's
napkins.
just the cutlery.
Cutlery, okay.
Yeah.
We also have other things, though. We have these really big leftover from the road race. We have these stainless steel tanks that you can put a lot of water or lemonade in, and it has a spigot.
Okay, I can see.
It holds, I think, 15 gallons. Oh no, it's 15 liters, 50 gallons. Big. And then we have smaller ones too. So those are all available for local events for people to borrow.
Okay, so
And you just ask at the front desk. If you need help, then one of the recycling committee members, Beth and Lydia, we both live in town, so we can meet you. Or you can go in your recycling. You can go in there yourself and pick it up. Yeah.
sounds good.
Bring your car around the back, and that way you don't have to lug it through the library.
And then I thought of one other thing. The high school is working on getting all solar silverware, and so I've been donating stuff from the swap shop and taking it to the high school, and they're happy to get it. And they need 1,500, service for 1,500, but
You mean
anybody
for
who has any
the
ideas on that?
lunch program is this for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just taking any, like Miss.
Yeah.
Mismatched.
That's kind
Yeah.
of cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting they're doing that. Why not?
I like restaurants where you go in and nothing matches.
I do too. Yes, absolutely.
Reminds you of home, right?
Right. Well, it's nice to be the same size at least. Plate is like, if somebody gets a platter recycled.
It depends on the food on it, not the size of the dish.
I'm like, wait a minute, my plate's only this big.
And the saucer, they get a platter.
Oh, because they have 3 times the amount of food I got.
Just doesn't
All right, so it's 12 noon. Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
gambling. Yeah, yeah.
We're adjourned.
Good meeting.
You're welcome.